You're listening to a Mel and Kim production podcast.
We're switching things up, so jump in the driver's seat. Within the front seat, Renee's Rapid Fire. Rapid Fire questions, high octane speed. Hey, Renee Gracie, let's rev up the conversation.
So we are back in the front seat now with Danny Rants, and I'm going to hit you with some hard-hitting questions. We'll start off with an easy one. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
KFC every day.
Oh, yeah.
I love that shit.
Yeah, that's good. iPhone or Android?
iPhone every day.
iPhone, yeah. Do you think the Earth is flat?
No. I
You're
don't
a
know
round
how
earther?
anybody thinks that. That is the most wild shit I've ever heard.
You're a round earther. Okay. If you got given $1 million to spend in 24 hours, how would you spend it?
That is a really good question. I would probably spend it on my family.
Yep.
Because I don't need that much. So I just do whatever they want and then, say you're not getting anything for Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, you got $1 million in 24 hours.
I'm not a toy guy.
Santa's not coming.
Yeah, so I'm not a toy guy. I'm like a real experienced person. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
okay.
I couldn't really do much in 24 hours, but I would much rather travel the world than buy a Ferrari.
Yeah.
I would much rather go on a 1 month holiday than buy a fucking jet ski. So, yeah.
I can relate to that. If you could swap lives with a celebrity for any period of time, who would it be and why?
I reckon Alex Pereira, who's this famous Brazilian UFC fighter.
Oh, yeah.
And just because the dude's a fucking freak, but I would just love to see what you have to, like, mentally, physically, what it takes to be the
What
best
he's
in the
going
world.
through. Yeah.
And he seems pretty chill, and it's like, I'd just love to like get in his head and just see what it feels like.
Yeah. And it also feels what it like to punch someone and
Smash
just like,
someone,
smash someone like and do it properly. Yeah.
He does it properly, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be fun actually. Do you have any conspiracy theories you believe in?
I don't reckon that a plane hit the Pentagon in 9/11. Because there's no footage of it, and I've sort of looked into it pretty deeply, and there's like even the power lines aren't broken in. I reckon it got bombed, but they don't want to say it because it's this central, it's meant to be the most protected thing in the world.
Yeah.
So I reckon they sort of twisted the story, which may or may not be true. And the second one is I don't reckon that they gave Osama bin Laden a burial. I reckon they found out he died, and then they said that they killed him and did all this shit. So I reckon that's fake too.
Oh,
Yeah, because I'm like, why would they, like when they killed Saddam Hussein,
Yeah.
they took photos of him like hanging and all fucked up.
Yeah.
But then Osama bin Laden, who's arguably the West's biggest arch nemesis, they just randomly just pushed him into the ocean and gave him this special burial. I don't believe it for a second.
Interesting.
Took no photos.
So you think he was already dead potentially and they found him? Maybe
they
he
said
killed
had
himself.
Cancer. Well, they said, and
cancer.
I reckon that he died, and they found out he died, maybe saw his body, whatever, and then they were just like, yeah, cool, we did this to kind of make this like Hollywood kind of, we killed the bad guy sort of vibe, but yeah.
I guess I've never really looked into that, to be honest, so that's actually quite interesting. Do you believe in ghosts?
I do.
Ghosts, spirits, aliens?
I had a quick story, but I had a mate of mine passed away, a really close friend, my best mate, and then we used to swap this hat and jersey all the time we used to wear. So I took it to a clairvoyant because someone reached out to me telling me that this clairvoyant wanted to talk to me, and I wasn't into that shit.
Oh.
So I went to this clairvoyant, and basically I'd said to his mum and dad the night before I went, Apostle, if this is legit, you're going to mention this hat and this jersey. So prior to that, I didn't really believe in this stuff. I put that hat and the jersey into my car, and when I sat with the lady, the first thing she said is, before I start, I'm going to mention there's something in your car. It's a hat and a jersey.
Wow.
So after that, I've been told by religious people that it's like they're called mimic spirits or some shit. That I've been told, I reckon that it was maybe my mate because some of the stuff he told me, like they told me how he passed away, and then I confirmed it with his family and shit. It's actually a TikTok story I've got, but after that, I'm like, it has to be true. I believe that stuff now.
Yeah, wow, that's interesting. Have you ever had any, when people send you signs or anything like that, or is it more just him talking
kind
through
of.
someone?
It's not just him. Like I've like lost heaps. Like I'm fortunate, but I've lost heaps of people in my life. But I've had heaps of little stuff like that.
Yeah, okay.
So since people have passed away, but it's like, I don't know. And I've had dreams where my great grandma passed away, and I dreamt that she was saying goodbye to me, and then I found out the next day she died. Like, so I just generally believe that stuff now.
Yeah, there's that stuff around. Yeah, that's cool. What is your go-to karaoke song?
My go-to karaoke song is a song called Tomorrow by Silverchair. I know every single word.
Sing me a little bit
It's
of
like,
it so I
you're
know
going away too, fat boy, fat boy. Would you kill tomorrow? It's like Silverchair was like one of the biggest bands in sort of like the late 90s, early 2000s.
And maybe I would know it if I hear it. Would I know it if I heard it?
Maybe. It was a big tune back in the day.
Silverchair. God, I'm trying to remember. I don't even know if I can remember. What is on the top of your bucket list?
I'm lucky where I've done so much. Like I've shark dived, I've cave dived, I've fucking jumped out of airplanes, I've traveled around the world, I've done whatever. But currently, it's on top of my bucket list. I continue to knock them off, but I want to go fishing in the Amazon for a week on a boat. So that's my I want to go catch piranhas and like.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't it crazy shit that's in the Amazon?
Yeah, real weird shit. So
like you're not catching tuna.
No, you're like literally catching like creatures that like are prehistoric effectively.
Yeah.
So I want to go over there probably the next 2-3 years, and I want to go fishing for fucking piranhas and eels and weird creatures in the Amazon.
Yeah, nice. That's fun. I want to do that actually. That sounds like it would be interesting. I have, when you said that, you know how you have that fish that has like the light dangling?
Yeah.
That's what goes to my mind
They're
when you said that.
The things in the Amazon are scarier than that.
I don't know why when I thought of the Amazon, I thought of that. I have no idea.
I do like, I want to stay with like a tribe too and just like
maybe
do
like
some hallucinogenics.
Yeah. Oh, that would freak me out. I'd feel like everything's fucking coming to eat me or coming to kill me.
Yeah.
Last question. Would you start an OnlyFans?
I don't reckon anyone would want to watch my OnlyFans. But I'm not going to lie, when COVID hit and I didn't know what I was going to do, I thought about it. I was like, fuck, surely someone wants to see me nude. But so yeah, I would. I'd give anything a go once.
Do you think you could do an OnlyFans for more of your Danny Rants stuff on TikToks and socials, but you could like fucking call out people or like really the juicy shit makes it to your OnlyFans?
Well, I've been thinking about doing this and like I've been thinking about doing like a Danny Rants uncut because I probably only talk about 60%.
I could imagine.
But I wouldn't do it on OnlyFans either.
Even some of the stuff you talk about is like
questionable.
Like you talk about like deaths and you do talk about deep stuff. So like maybe
there's stuff that I can't say at all. Or like there's names I would never mention because I'd probably get killed. Legitimately, like it's actually a risk that I run.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff I say could actually come with dire consequences. But I'm pretty good at figuring out where that line is. But I thought about doing these Danny Rants uncuts, like where people could come for a dinner, but I put their phones away. And but I wouldn't do it on OnlyFans because if it leaked, I probably would get shot.
Yeah, you need like an untrackable NDA signed, no phones allowed.
Correct,
yeah.
Like
that would be really cool.
I get questions people all the time like, who's the scariest person you met? I'm like, I'm never going to tell you.
Yeah, you'll never find out.
Or like, did this happen? I'm like, I can't say, because people could still go to jail for it.
Oh, that's so annoying though.
Yeah.
That would piss me off.
Now when people hear, they're like, what are those things? Yeah, but I'm like, I just can't say it. But I know people want to hear it, but I wouldn't do it on any form of fucking technology.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you find a way because I'd actually be interested. I'm sure you got some fucking juicy shit to share.
It's weird because everyone's like, man, you got so much juicy shit to share. And I'm like, that's only like a small portion.
Yeah, I could imagine. I know. It's like any industry. There's always the underground stuff that no one will ever know about. People always stay quiet. You don't tell anything.
But what'll blow your mind is like I obviously tell stories about like gangsters and shit, or like, but I never mention or names or even groups. And then like I've checked with people in those communities, and I'm like, am I all right? They're like, yeah, no, everyone's loving it. Yeah. And so it's like, it's not what you expect.
Because you're not calling anyone out.
Yeah,
so
like
it's
you're
okay.
not mentioning that you're doing all the right things.
Yeah,
like, and then like they love those stories because now they're getting told too. In a sense. So it's interesting. Cool. I didn't expect that reaction, but that's the reaction I've been getting.
Yeah, that's really cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it. And I encourage everyone to go on your social medias, Instagram, TikToks, which are blowing up at the moment because you've got some really YouTube as well. You're on YouTube. Yeah.
A couple 100,000 a month now.
Yeah. And you've got your podcasts as well. So yeah, highly recommend everyone go watch and listen because you've got some cool stuff and you have a lot of cool guests come on as well. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Cheers.